Let's see, audio is recording. Ah! La da da dee! I'm not your boyfriend! I'm not your boyfriend! If you get where that's from, comment below. What's good, people? Agent Jules reporting for duty. Alrighty, so we are at the last batch of Steven Universe episodes before the 4-part finale. So I figured since I'm still on this Steven Universe train, might as well milk that algorithm and continue to talk about it, especially since I actually watched the episodes, and I kind of want to discuss them because they're interesting. This video is going to piggyback from the previous episode where I was talking about the other episodes of Steven Universe Future because it's following that trend I was talking about last time of the concept of the death of the fairy tale. Because now it's not only doing the death of the fairy tale, I feel like what we've seen with Steven kind of losing his last bits of innocence, we are now seeing the death of the hero. So with that, let us go ahead and practice good social distancing by going out into the woods with our favorite angry gem. Build yourself a nice campfire, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and let's get cracking. First point, of course, let's go ahead and talk about the speed paint. This speed paint is obviously a reference to the 16th episode with Steven camping out with Jasper. Oh, by the way, before I get into it, I am going to put up spoilers here, so if you haven't seen the episodes, don't watch this, so I'll leave my annoying spoiler thing up. Okay, anyway, Jasper camping in the woods, and of course their fight, and it kind of reminded me, Swole Steven kind of reminded me of Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star, especially with the whole shattering of Jasper's gem, which actually caught me off guard. Anyway, so I figured it would be appropriate to do a Kenshiro Steven crossover picture because it amused me. Also, I feel like Fist of the North Star kind of fits the overall theme of our world. We are facing an unprecedented, rough time, and there's, of course, a lot of apocalypse memes going on, so why not join in on that nonsense? So yeah, I figure everything is fitting in so nicely, especially with, Pearl and the toilet paper episode, and now this in the campfire, and me doing Fist of the North Star. It's a nice little tie-in. Anyway, let's talk about episode 15, which of course is the road trip with Greg. I found this one fascinating because I actually read a comment somewhere online. I don't know if it was on Twitter or whatever, but someone was saying how we have witnessed Steven's last, rock that kind of anchors him, like his last person he can really turn to, go away, in a sense. I know there's a better way of describing it, but the words elude me right now. Point is that we now find out about a little more about Greg's past, how he lived a rather sheltered lifestyle that, in Steven's eyes, was very nice and comfortable compared to the gem war nonsense he had to live through. And to Greg's credit, living in a lifestyle where, yes, you are provided for, but you are kind of held down by the anchor of the man. You have to do like being sheltered, overly sheltered, obviously can foster a rebellious side in a lot of people. So it is understandable from Greg's point, and of course Greg is confused that Steven would be confused that Greg ran away from all of that. But, of course, you got to think it from Steven's point of view, where, he lived through the Gem War and all the stuff he went through. So it's very much that concept of the grass is greener. Grass is always greener. Greg actually feels like the life he gave Steven was better than his, which, in a way, is ignorance because Steven's life was filled with strife, like real, actual life or death strife. And with that last disconnect, of course, Steven now feels like even his own father has, in a way, turned against him, and that adds on to his problems, which is really interesting to see. At the same time, though, I feel like Steven is taking a lot of this stuff way too personally, but I can't fault him because Steven Universe very much is a show about fifis, right? It's all about all of my feelings and caring and sharing and hugging. And secondly, you can chalk this up essentially to teen angst, because Steven's a teenager now, so he's going to go through his teen angst phase. It just happens to be exacerbated by the fact that he has literal superpowers and has gone through literal war. Which, of course, segues nicely into episode 16, which is the whole camping with Jasper and learning how to toughen up with Jasper and then going too far with Jasper. and all that good stuff. So, Steven is out there thinking like he has no one to turn to because no one understands him, man. So he's going through his own teenage rebellious phase. So he goes off to camp with Jasper, and of course Jasper's like, you don't need friends. You need to be tough. Look at me, I got a funny nose. And so, he does his thing with Jasper. And I like the showcase of him getting all swole, all looking like Fists of the North Star style, because that's a nice little nod to his ability to shapeshift. And basically his physical appearance is very much tied to his emotion. You could obviously, with the previous episodes of him and his gem powers freaking out and like hulking out and growing, but also if you think way back when on the Too Many Birthdays episode where he was prematurely aging himself. And so all of this, of course, culminates to the almighty scene where he finally decides, all right, I'm actually ready to fight you, Jasper, now that we've been training. And so, he goes along with it. And sure enough, all this time she's been egging him on about him indulging in his anger and saying it feels good being angry and letting out, don't it? And then finally Steven admits, yes, it does. And then, of course, there's that final scene where he throws his spiky wall Kamehameha at Jasper with his line of like, of course, you were right, Jasper, I have been holding back. Of course, the part that surprised me was in the scene where, it cuts to black after Jasper gets clobbered by that giant spike wall, and it shows Steven panicking and rushing back home with something in his pocket. My thought was like, oh, he bubbled her. But the fact that he shattered her gem, that actually took me off guard and was like, oh, if anything, I'm actually kind of impressed that they decided to push it that far, because that has more weight. Because, as we know in the show, bubbling doesn't really matter that much, because it's basically just a temporary hindrance. It's like being tased, bro. It doesn't really matter because you're still there. You just got to reform. But being shattered is actual death. And then, of course, he does the magical bubble bath to revive Jasper, which is interesting because now it is now established that the combined powers of the diamonds can essentially resurrect gems, because we were led to believe, or at least I was led to believe, that shattering is it. You are dead if you are shattered. But sure enough, that doesn't work. And so at long last, Jasper is resurrected, and she acknowledges Steven's might and bows before him and officially declares him her diamond. And of course that freaks Steven out. And it's really funny because this whole arc is now reminding me of something else, which is, funnily enough, Anakin Skywalker from, the prequel Star Wars trilogies. Because now we're finally seeing Steven's dark side kind of get to him. Like, his world has been changing, it's been affecting him, and now his true, the true feeling of loss and anger are finally starting to get their grubby little paws on him, which I don't doubt is going to be the final antagonist, if you will, of the 4-part series. It's like the final boss is going to be the monster inside Steven, right? No, Steven, you are the monster, and then Steven was the monster. That kind of nonsense. So seeing Steven's transformation from lovey-dovey ukulele boy to big bad smashing Fist of the North Star Steven is kind of interesting. We shall see how everything resolves. No doubt it's going to be lovey-dovey and huggy. They're going to be like, oh, we respect your feelings, and everything's going to be happy. I want to see how they are going to surprise me on that, because obviously it's going to have a what we consider a quote-unquote happy ending. But I do hope they have one last, I guess for lack of a better term, edgy trick up their sleeve. I know edgy is a connotative, a negatively connotative phrase, but I do hope they have some kind of bite to the finale that kind of makes it more weighty. So with all that said, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up here today. So you people know what to do now. If you like what you see and you want to see more, go ahead and tickle the sacred YouTube buttons. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're on the up and up of all the stuff I post. In addition, comment below so I can hear what you have to say about all this nonsense, and also if you have any suggestions for future content. And of course, share the video because you know that you watch good stuff, and this is good stuff, and you want to share that with all your friends who are also in social isolation, desperately looking for new forms of entertainment that they can engage in their tiny little locked up rooms. And of course, if you wish to stalk me elsewhere on the interbutts, I'll go ahead and put up my social media links here on the screen. And I will also link to the intro video that has all of the external links that I always put in the videos. And with all that said, I thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you stick around, and until next time, You are already deuces.